antelopes are greater kudu. Now they are female. They do not have horns, only the males do. They're the second tallest antelope here on the reserve. They stand about 55 inches tall at their shoulder. And over on the left-hand side, the black and white bird there is a saddle-billed stork. It's actually sitting down at the moment. When they stand up, they're about 4 feet tall. They're solitary until they find their mate, and then they will mate for life. Now we're going to head out of the forest and go towards Sophie River. At Sophie, we're looking for animals that are more aquatic. So watch for dark shapes, shadows, ripples, or bubbles in the water that may indicate the presence of animals. We're watching for Nile crocodiles, different types of aquatic birds, and hopefully some Nile hippos. But hippos can be pretty hard to see when they're in the water. They can hold their breath staying fully submerged up to 8 minutes at a time. There's actually one kind of playing around over to the right-hand side. Now they'll even sleep under the water. They'll rise to the top naturally to take a breath and then sink right back down without waking up. Even when they move around in the water, they'll walk or run on the river bottoms. It's just much easier on their legs. They don't actually swim like we think of swimming. They use their front 2 feet to propel them through. Their back feet just kind of float along behind them, which does give them the illusion of swimming. Now they're herbivores, so they come out on land at night to feed. They eat grasses, plants, and hays. They usually roam around 5 miles or so. Then they'll come back to the water in the morning when the sun comes up. Now, the gray and white birds to the left-hand side are pink-backed pelicans. They're the smallest pelican species. Their wingspan is about 8 feet wide. Actually named for the light pink spot that you can see on their back during their mating season. Now, there's some hippos over to the left-hand side on this island. There's actually a baby hippo laying there. And there's some in the water, by the waterfall in the back. Now the little baby was actually born right here on these rocks in this water here. About 3.5 months old now. It's a little girl. Her name is Grace. There's also Nile crocodile to the left-hand side. Just make sure we do remain fully seen and are fully grown, weighing anywhere from 500 to 750 pounds on average. Their main diet does consist of fish. Hi friends, just make sure we do stay fully seated. Their main diet does consist of fish. They're almost They usually eat about once a week, but they do have a very slow metabolism that allows them to go about 8 months without any food at all if they need to. So unless they're moving around to regulate their temperatures, well, they're wildebeest. Now, wildebeest form one of the largest migrating herds on Earth. Up to 1.5 million will gather together, and they'll migrate close to 1,000 miles every year in search of food and water. Now that sounds pretty chaotic, but they're actually fairly organized, even when they lay down. You can see how they're kind of scattered. They face different directions, and they'll keep spaces between them. That way if any predators come around, any danger, they can actually jump, run, and scatter, which confuses the predators without getting into each other's way. Now they're also called gnus, spelled G-N-U, for the low newing sound that they make. Over to the left-hand side, there's a pack of African wild dogs, also called painted dogs. They're kind of up against a tree line, laying under those 2 trees there in the middle.
Painted dogs?
Now, they're the #1 hunter of mammals in Africa. They have an 80 to 90% success rate on their hunts. They'll actually take turns chasing their prey until their prey literally drops from exhaustion. Each dog can run 3 to 4 miles at about 35 miles an hour without slowing down. Also on the left, against the back tree line there, those ground antelopes are sable antelopes, the emblem here of the Harambe Reserve. In a fight or flight situation, they will always fight back, using those long horns to actually knock off predators that try to jump onto their backs. The small tan and white antelopes on either side of us.
Oh shit, Jacob, run. Nico, run.
Now, giraffes are actually very fast. They can run almost 35 miles an hour.
So
Now, over to the right-hand side, this is a Hartman's mountain zebra. white bellies. Their stripes don't go all the way around. They also have whiter stripes on their back hips and an extra flap of skin under their neck called a dewlap. Now that helps aid in some extra blood circulation. If they ever get overheated, they just stretch their necks out. It elongates the veins and arteries in their neck, allows them to circulate their blood a little bit more to help keep them cooler. Over in the trees on the right-hand side are Ancole cattle. You can just see the tips of their horns. They're also called Watusi, the Watusi tribe that first domesticated them. And they're the only domesticated animal here on the reserve. We have more giraffe here on the left. Now these are Maasai giraffe. Maasai giraffes have spots that have jagged, irregular edges to them, where most giraffe species have smooth edges on their spots. Now they're the tallest land mammal. Hi friends, please no calling out to the animals. Now, they'll stand about 20 feet tall when they're fully grown, but average 6 feet tall at birth. Now, in the very back there is a young one. It's about 3.5 months old now. They'll spend approximately 20 hours out of each day eating, but only 30 minutes to maybe an hour sleeping. They won't even sleep all at one time. They'll just take short naps throughout their day. Now, seeing giraffes lay down like that is actually pretty rare to see. They won't lay down unless they're completely comfortable in their environment. With those long legs, it takes them a few moments to lay down and stand back up, during which time they are completely vulnerable to predators in the area. Oh my goodness, friends, there's an elephant in the water up here. Oh, this is so very cool. And mangroves on the left-hand side.
Elephant. We got elephants, huh?
Now mandrills on the left are the largest monkeys in the world. Males get up to be about 100 pounds and females average 30. Now fully grown African elephants are the world's largest land mammal. Fully grown males, first hatched, they have gray feathers. It takes about 1.5 years with their diet of brine shrimp to turn that light pink color. Now the pigmentation is actually coming from the beta carotene that's in the brine shrimp and the other crustaceans that they eat. Now we do have some young ones that are still on the island. They're about 5 months old now. Well, there's a white rhino up here. It's going to be on our left-hand side. Now, white rhinos have wide, square jaws. They're grazers. They eat grasses and hays. Now, watch the ears. You'll see them move around every once in a while. That's to help them figure out where we are. They can only see clearly about 5 to 10 feet in front of them. Everything after that just gets a little bit blurry. So they use excellent hearing 16 to 20 hours out of each day. Pretty inactive. Kind of just sleeping, resting, and relaxing. During the day, they have the same vision we do. They have 20/20 vision, but at night it gets 6 times better. So they take advantage of the cooler temperatures and the better vision to do most of their hunting at night. Now, females do most of the hunting. If the females are successful and the males are around, well, the males will actually come in to eat first. Although they are opportunistic hunters. They're not going to be like, oh, it's daylight, I'm not going to go hunting. But they like to do the most of it at night. Now, right here on the left-hand side, this is a bontebok. Bonteboks were nearly hunted to extinction. In the early 20th century, there were less than 20 left alive in the world. Now, some of them wandered onto a farmer's field. The farmer wanted to protect them, so he built a fence around them, keeping them safe from hunters and poachers, and became one of the main reasons that the bontebok numbers have come back so successfully from the edge of extinction. They're also extremely beneficial. They eat a lot of the woody underbrush that the other animals can't or won't eat, provides better visibility around the outpost and in villages, and their milk is very nutritious. It's high in vitamins and minerals, has a high butterfat content, and makes an excellent cheese that local villagers will sell in the markets. Now, this is the final set of gates to the reserve. That means we're exiting out and headed back into the village of Harambe. Now, I truly hope that you enjoyed your safari out here with me today. It was absolutely my pleasure to have you on the back of my truck, the Simple One, as we wander the reserve, seeing some of the magnificent animals that are in Africa, sharing with you just a little of the knowledge that I have of the animals and conservation efforts. Now, if you want to help out with some conservation efforts from home, one of the easiest ways to get started is just by reducing our use of plastic, investing in and actually using reusable bottles, shopping bags, and even reusable straws. Because plastic straws can't be recycled at all. They don't properly fit through the recycling mechanisms. Now we are turning onto the main road into the village, so double check your roads to make sure you have all of your belongings. If you need a trash can or recycling bin, there's actually some conveniently located right on the dock for you. Now here in Harambe, we don't like to say goodbye. It's far too sad and final.